How's it going, party people? Today we'll be doing a before you buy video on Fountain, a new game by the OP or the OP, depending on who you are. If you don't know this game, that's perfectly fine. That's why you're watching this. We'll tell you everything about the game, both factual and my opinion. Let's get started. The publisher is the OP or the OP. The designer is Kendrick Winks. For player count, the game plays between 1 to 5 players, meaning that there is indeed a solo mode. The weight for the game is 2.5 out of 5. It's a little bit higher than the introductory super easy scoring game, and it leans more into an actual strategic tile placement gameplay. The time to teach this game like fully in depth is around 15 minutes. You can probably get away with about 10, and new players for like board games might have to do about 20. The length of the game is about 90 minutes, if not longer. Really just depends on how fast you're going, but honestly around 90 minutes. The theme of the game is to construct elaborate fountains. It's a lot more interesting than it sounds. If you see the box, it's an absolutely beautiful game. The three primary mechanisms in this game are tile placement, rondel, and drafting, specifically open drafting. The unique hook for the game really is a 3D, beautiful, satisfying tile placement game. It really falls in the bubble if you're looking for games that are good tile placements that with beautiful art style and is a bit different than your typical tile placement game. Specifically the tiles itself, because they're foam and like super thick. This is a game that's going to be good for you. The MSRP price is $40. The setup time, I don't really know because I didn't really watch the setup or anything like that, but it looks to be around 15 minutes, I would say, just because there's so much stuff you have to stack vertically and get out of the box. It's not too long, but you know, just some small things, so about 10 to 15 minutes. The only game that I found easy to compare this game to is Red Cathedral, because it's another tile placement game using a rondel that was drafting a kind of drafting similar, but overall I would say that that's the closest game that I could compare it to, and also the only game I could really find that fits the same criteria, even though it's a completely different experience. The target audience for this game, I truly believe, are fans of table presence that are introduction hobbyists, like people who have been playing games for a little bit. They're trying to make their own collection. They're trying to find games that people don't really have that works with them and what they like. If you like verticality in your board games, if you like good table presence, if you like tile placement games, and this game really has a lot of things going right up your alley. Now, the how to play the game, I'm not going too far in depth, but there are 3 pegs in the rondel. What you're going to do is you're going to move any of those 3 pegs 1, 2, or 3 spaces, meaning almost always you have every option on the board available to you, except where the pegs are. Wherever you move the pegs, you're going to draft a fountain piece to add to your fountain. Your fountains are all circular, and you will add them and try not to cover up too much of your fountain. You have to have at least 2 stone pieces, like those brown segments in the videos that you're watching right now. You have to have 2 browns overlapping at least, I believe. If you overlap pieces, like you can stack it and you want to get multiple levels for better types of scoring. In order to do that, you have to have a few things in place for that. But specifically for building your fountain, you have to have the entire next level fully supported by the bottom level. You cannot have anything overhanging in any regard whatsoever, and you have to have everything placed smoothly and cleanly on it. You can't have any gaps underneath it, so you can't just stack it with like 2 circles and have one right here. That's not legal. You have to have everything fully overlapping and fitting perfectly. The game ends whenever entire stack is empty or when all the bonus tokens are no longer available. There are a lot of different scorings to interim throughout the game. Whenever the colored pegs is on the same color as the space and peg, so if the white peg's on the white space, red peg's on the red space, green peg on the green space, whatever it might be, you're going to do that kind of scoring. Whoever puts it there, if it's a fish space, will control what fish everyone scores. Lily pads, everyone will score based on how many lily pads are showing. Size of your fountain is completely dependent upon whoever has the most amount of unique pools of water on your fountain. It's pretty unique. It's pretty interesting in those regards. Now that all of that's out of the way, we're going straight into the my opinion section of this, where I talk about what I think about the game and whether or not you agree with it. You can kind of understand where I am going. Starting off with how the game feels. The game feels really like you're like intentionally structuring a fountain, because the reason why there's a lot of pools of water, and the pools of water are a pretty unique feature because, you know, as you know, fountains have multiple layers for the most part. The spout's usually on top, and then it goes down, trickles down to different water levels. For instance, if you have a water level above your fountain head, like your spout, and there's no water flowing down into it, it's now algae. It cannot score. It's dirty bacteria because water's not being renewed and refreshed into it. So you want to have a unique flow of water on that on the pool of water. It's pretty interesting. I can't get over that. It really does feel like you're intentionally thinking like 10 steps ahead of time. Like, okay, if I want to get to building 4, I have to have a nice foundation, a solid build here. Can't overlap too many of my fish, too many of this, too many of that, because you're really intentionally trying to get a good fountain throughout the game, through all the levels, because there's so many multiple scoring elements. You don't want to sacrifice too much, but you definitely have to sacrifice some scoring in order to build for the future and the end game plan. The game looks absolutely beautiful. No question about it. The game's beautiful. The art is nice. It's like a realistic, almost like photo hyper realistic art style. It's very nice, very brightly lit, aesthetically pleasing. The actual rondelle is elevated up a little bit, which is nice because of all the vertical structures in the game with all the stacks of the different types of fountain pieces you can grab. It's nice to have it elevated so it's easier to see for everyone, and it's not too obscured by the overall aforementioned verticality. But it's really cool. I think it's nice. It's really satisfying looking at other players' boards and your board, seeing just how many stacks are on your fountains. It's nice seeing the koi fish. All the fish are beautiful. The gold coins, in my opinion, kind of looks like caviar, like little fish eggs instead of gold coins, but it makes sense after I look into it. The bonus tokens are a little too small, but it makes sense because you have to actually fit it and not overlap it unintentionally. It has to fit into very small sections. If you have a lot of different small little pools of water in your fountain. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, it looks beautiful. It just looks great. I think the art genuinely is 10 out of 10. It's exactly what it should be. It's perfect. It's exactly what this game needed. Hyper realism, great realistic rounded theme that really accented like the gameplay, or at least complemented it. Now, what I liked about this game, I really did enjoy the tile placement element. It was fun having a successful fountain, building a lot of pools of water. Pretty quickly, you can understand just how important certain pieces are. Some pieces might not look good. They might not look aesthetically pleasing. They might not be intuitively useful based on like your strategy. But as you can see, all the unique shapes exist. And weirdly enough, the giant circle is the most obstructive one. Like just the full circle can be the worst one to place in terms of what your overall plan is. But you need to plan for the future. You need to have as many pieces placed in the right place early enough so that your later game's not screwed. Especially if you're trying to get to like level 5, level 6, where the scoring just completely changes the game fully. I would love to play that game again. It just changed my framework of trying to get the most convenient scoring for every phase and trying to build specifically to the late game scorings and see if I can just have that outweigh my entire early game build. Because that's what I think the winners did of that game. People who won that game did a great job of getting rid of the need to score immediately for later, like much higher scoring. Anyway, overall, there's just so many strategies to the game, and it was rewarding to play the game a certain way. It was nice to see all the different types of strategies. You can go the fish route, the lily pad route, you go for verticality, you go for multiple different pools. You have to do a little bit of everything. It's not a game you can kind of stick with one thing and win with. You have to pay attention to the end goal objectives. You have to pay attention to where people might be placing their pegs. You have to make sure that they're not scoring what they're great at. Like if someone has 14 lily pads, you have 2. You don't want them consistently scoring lily pads because every time they score lily pads, they're getting 14 points or getting 2. It's a huge skew, and that's not considering all the other players. And so I really did like the fact that you have to pay attention to what other players want, what you want, and also what you can even get in the game, like what's realistic to even try to gain. What I didn't like about the game, there's only one thing I didn't like about this game, and it was strictly how long it took. And now we were talking, I was getting to know the people, and if you guys don't watch my channel, you should know I talk a lot during board games. This is my first time playing with these people, and they were super dope. And I feel bad because I talked relentlessly and single-handedly made the game take at least like 20, 30 minutes longer. But still, like the game took, I say 90 minutes, but I think it was like 2.5 hours, something like that. I say 90 minutes because if I shut up, it was probably gonna be like 90, 80. But truly, the game says 30 to 45. It's not a 30 to 45 minute game whatsoever. I would say the game would be benefit significantly by removing like 4 tiles of each type from the game. Because even though people could want the same type of tile and that goes out quickly, a lot of people might not think they're in the position to end the game, so might go to spread out the different tiles that they want. In our game, we had almost everything completely leveled until the very end of the game, like how we were drafting, completely unintentionally. We just happened to equidraft everything, so then all the towers were slowly going down equally. And I accidentally ended the game by grabbing the last thing that just happened to be the most convenient piece for me to get and score me the most amount of points. So the game was just a little bit too long. It did overstay its welcome, but I would like to play it at least one more time. And I don't like homebrewing stuff, but if I did play that game and taught it to people and the game was still like 90 minutes to 2 hours, I would definitely get rid of like 4 or 5 tiles from each column, in my opinion. Would I replay this game? 100%. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I did only play it the one time, but honestly, it's a game where you see everything you need because how long the game is. You see the benefits, you see the strats. There's obviously more you can gain and understand, and you do have to consider what other people are going for in certain regards, not overall, but it is definitely a game I'm interested in seeing on the table again. And it doesn't take up too much table space. It's nice. It's a good game overall. I think it's great. Would I purchase this game? Now, if you guys don't know, I'm very fiscally responsible. I do pay attention to the price of games, how much money I'm spending. And I do keep that in mind whenever I buy games because money is something that's not earned easily. Or no matter how much money you make, it's not something that just falls from the sky. You have to work for it, make sure you spend it right. And this game is $40 MSRP. Truly, I do think it's worth it. It's one of the few games I think is adequately priced right now. $40 for this game is a great price point. The tiles they have good quality. They're foam. You have to make sure not to use it as a coaster because they do have a coaster vibe and feel to it. But they have like a foam insert, which makes it like 5 times thicker than any other tile you'll find in board gaming. You genuinely find a cardboard toaster and like double or triple that. That's the size. Oh, sorry, cardboard toaster. And like triple it, cardboard coaster. Am I saying that right? Whatever. Triple that size, and that's how thick every single piece is, which is why the towers are so tall whenever you're drafting. Anyways, I think it's a good MSRP. I think it's a good price. And that means used is going to go for like 25, 30, which makes me even happier. I genuinely might buy that game at 25, maybe 30, but probably at 25 for sure because it's just such a good game. Now, the final ranking of my game, if you don't know, I rank every game I do review on and then some. Going from the game I like the most, I want to replay the most, all the way to the game I like the least and want to stay away from the most, basically. And this game did pretty well. It got 43 out of 105, going right underneath Journey Adventure Quest and right above Super Boss Monster. Journey Adventure Quest is a simple drafting game, like Seven Wonders style drafting, but you're doing achievements in the middle for like slaying monsters and all that stuff from Triceratops games. And Super Boss Monster is I don't know, it's a tile placement game, technically, very light tile placement game with like some randomness based on, video games from the 1900s, like early 2000s, are like pixel. And I think it's pretty cool. It's fun. Super Boss Monsters is a little too light for me. And honestly, it's more so for art style and nostalgia. And Journey Adventure Quest it's a faster paced game where you're doing stuff the entire time and it's simultaneous. So you're really just doing stuff the entire game. So it's very engaging, which is what this game I think was slightly missing. Which is why I was talking so much. If I'm not fully engaged with the game off my turn, I'm going to be talking. So that's my fault. But anyways, that's what this game got, 43 out of 105, which is a pretty good scoring considering games I don't like start at like 80 or like 75. So keep in mind, that's a pretty good scoring for me at least. But that's everything. Let me know what you think of the game in the description below. Let me know what you think of my review, whether or not it makes you want to buy this game. What other game do you want me to review from the op? I love working with the op. They sent me like 4 games, Hues and Cues, Blank Slate, and some other things, Tapple, which is just a blast no matter who you are. If you don't know, we have a Kickstarter going on in February, which is going to be basically make or break the business. So if you want to help out with that, go to the description of this video and help us stay doing all these events and doing all these videos, doing like one a day. I try to put one out every single day, and I've been doing a good job with that so far. So if you want to see us do more of that stuff, go in the description of this video and follow the Kickstarter. Comment below what you think about the game, and make sure to subscribe to see more of these videos and like it if you enjoyed it. Peace out, have a great day, God bless, and I hope to see you at the table soon.